California is on high alert, folks. So let me read these for you guys. Some 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate, a chemical used as both fertilizer and a component in explosives, went missing as it was shipped by rail from Wyoming to California last month, prompting 4 separate investigations. So just when you thought the whole Ohio train derailment leak was already the worst, you hear news like this. So yeah, California is on high alert right now for these dangerous explosive chemicals. I mean, it's really dangerous when you think about it. I can only imagine if there's another train derailment that comes out of this. By the way, I found a clip of the Ohio train derailment just recently. Check this out. Yeah, just imagine that happening with 60,000 pounds of explosive ammonium nitrate on board. I'm just saying, guys, you might want to stay away from large gatherings for a few months. Now, if the rail car did leak, then they should be able to find traces all over the tracks. It's a dangerous world out there, all right? Now, aside from this, experts from all around the world are sounding the alarm on toxic chemicals ahead of plastic treaty negotiations. Now, apparently, a quarter of the 13,000 chemicals commonly added to plastics are known to have hazardous properties. And just a couple weeks ago, the California Assembly passed a bill banning toxic chemicals in Skittles, Pez, hot tamales, and many other popular candies. So they had to pass a bill to ban toxic chemicals in the food we eat, the food we give our children. I mean, you'd be surprised, guys. Common consumer products, hair and nail products, all-purpose cleaners, and automotive products, they contain some of the highest numbers of chemicals that have been linked to cancer or reproductive and development problems. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that our country is in big trouble and our government is basically doing nothing about it. Some people are calling it the plandemic, all to systemically wipe out the American working class. But what do you guys think? Drop me a comment down below if you're onto their agenda. So meanwhile, let's get into the nitty-gritty on all of it and expose everything they don't want to talk about on mainstream media. By the way, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Never be caught off guard by another very expensive, unexpected home repair again. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below of this video. So really, the main headline today is this whole 30-ton shipment of explosive chemicals missing in California. See, this ammonium nitrate, it is commonly used as fertilizer, but it's also an ingredient in high explosives, and it was used in the homemade bomb detonated in 1995, the attack on the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, if you guys remember that. Now, a rail car left with like 30 tons of this stuff left Cheyenne, Wyoming on April 12th, but rolled into a rail stop in Mojave Desert 2 weeks later. They discovered it, but were shocked that it was completely empty. The explosives company that made the shipment, Dyno Nobel, they reported the incident to the National Response Center on May 10th. It also showed up in a California incidents database managed by the State Office of Emergency Services. Now, according to Dyno Mobile, they believe that the material, which was in pellet form and packed in a covered hopper car, you know, like the ones that they use for shipping coal, somehow fell out along the way to a rail siding called Saltdale. That's about 30 miles away from the town of Mojave in Kern County. The company thinks that maybe there was a leak through the bottom gate of the rail car while it was on the move. But a representative from the Federal Rail Administration has a different theory, since the investigation points to one of the hopper car gates not being properly closed. Now, there's another theory that this whole thing has something to do with fertilizer being scarce for farmers. They truly want to eliminate us one way or another. Dyno Nobel is saying that the trip took 2 weeks with multiple stops and that they had limited control over the rail car while Union Pacific was handling the transportation. They're sending the rail car back to Wyoming for inspection, hoping to figure out what the heck happened and to make sure that it doesn't occur again. But this whole ordeal has triggered investigations by the Federal Railroad Administration, the California Public Utilities Commission, Union Pacific, and Dyno Mobile themselves. Yeah, they're all in the case. Now, just for context, Congress passed a law in 2007 that regulates the sale and the transfer of ammonium nitrate to prevent it from being used for terrorism. The Department of Homeland Security even proposed some regulations in 2011, but they never really adopted them. Definitely some scary stuff here, guys. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for more developments on the missing chemicals. But for now, we're going to move on to some other hazardous chemicals different investigations have found in the stuff that we use and the food we eat. Oh yeah, let's start with this one, right? So more than 100 types of common consumer products contain at least one and often multiple chemicals linked to cancer or reproductive and developmental problems, at least according to research in the journal Environmental Science and Technology. Many of the chemicals were found in personal care products, including nail polish, shampoo, lotion, and soap. Cleaning products, particularly all-purpose cleaners, laundry detergent, and dish soap, also contain numerous chemicals. The largest group of products were those that might be used in workplace settings such as factories or construction sites and included adhesives, degreasers, lubricants, and sealants. And this is some pretty toxic stuff. They got the names by cross-referencing two major lists. So one was the California Air Resources Board's list of products sold in the state that release volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, which are chemicals that easily transform into gas and are released into the air. Now, the second list was a list of chemicals flagged as being carcinogens or reproductive and developmental toxicants by Proposition 65. California's Safe Drinking Water and Toxic Enforcement Act. Now, comparing the two databases, the researchers found 33 VOCs that were identified as Prop 65 as being hazardous to health. The chemicals were listed as ingredients in 105 different consumer product categories. Now, according to the scientists from the research project, quote, "The thing that jumped out to us was really just the extent of the exposures. People can be exposed to the same chemical in a whole bunch of different products," end quote. Now, another research professor commented, quote, "These volatile organic compounds are there in almost every product that we use, the consumer products, personal care products, cosmetics," end quote. Now, the researchers also identified 11 of the chemicals and 30 of the product categories as immediate targets for regulatory restriction or manufacturer redesign. About 2/3 of the products were personal care or cleaning products that most people use at home. Many of them were also used by professional cleaners, auto mechanics, construction workers, or employees in hair and nail salons who were potentially exposed to higher levels of chemicals than the average consumer. Now, one of the most concerning chemicals identified was diethanolamine, or DEA, which, by the way, is classified as a possible carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer and is banned from use in cosmetics in Canada and the European Union. DEA was listed as an ingredient in 40 items, including soaps, lotions, hair products, and household cleaners. The preservative formaldehyde was also at the top of the list. It is a known carcinogen, and it's also prohibited in cosmetics in the European Union and was found in 17 product categories. Another piece of advice from the researchers: choose home and personal care products that are fragrance-free. Fragrances are common sources of VOCs because the scent has to be released into the air in order for us to be able to smell it. The researchers also recommended using these products with as much ventilation as possible. Really, it could all build up. Quote, "What are the effects that you see when the product is used on a daily basis? For example, 70 years continuously. You are exposed to hundreds, if not thousands, of these kinds of chemicals." I mean, seriously, like, what are they trying to do to us? No wonder cancer rates are so freaking high here in America. Why is it okay for us here in America to have all of these carcinogens in the products we use on a regular basis, but then like Canada, the European Union, they ban these products and they don't allow these products to be around their citizens? Really makes you wonder, doesn't it? By the way, if you guys made it this far in this video, do me a favor, drop a huge like for the video. Also subscribe to the channel. I totally appreciate that. Not to mention the kind of chemicals that they're putting in the food that we're eating. So California just took a major step closer to banning certain toxic ingredients commonly found in Skittles, Pez, hot tamales, and many other popular candies. I don't understand why it's even in these candies to begin with, but whatever. So the California Assembly last week overwhelmingly passed Assembly Bill 418, sending the legislation over to the state Senate. Introduced by Democratic State Assemblyman Jesse Gabriel, the bill would ban the sale, manufacture, and distribution of foods containing chemicals that have been linked to health risks, including cancer, behavioral problems in children, harm to reproductive health, and damage to the immune system. According to Gabriel, quote, "It's unacceptable that the U.S. is so far behind the rest of the world when it comes to banning these dangerous additives. We don't love our children any less than they do in Europe, and it's not too much to ask food and beverage manufacturers to switch to the safer alternative ingredients that are already in use in Europe and so many other nations around the globe," end quote. Now, the real question is, why is this poison in our candy anyway to begin with? So we're already talking about stuff like red dye number 3, titanium dioxide, potassium bromate, brominated vegetable oil, and propylparaben, or all this other stuff you can hardly pronounce. These are ingredients that are all banned in the EU, much like red dye number 3, which gives Pez, hot tamales, and sweethearts their color. This has been linked to cancer. So we're basically just popping cancer pills, aren't we? Same thing with titanium dioxide found in Skittles, Nerds, Trolley gummies, and has also been linked to the Big C. Now, they're not completely outlawing these candies, just that they want the manufacturers to change up their recipes. Plus, these food additives that this bill is targeting are just a few out of the thousands of chemicals that they add to food to make it last longer, to make it taste better, and to make it a little bit more appealing. Now, some of these chemicals haven't even been properly evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. Some are considered generally recognized as safe, but truth be told, there really hasn't been a whole lot of oversight on them. So basically, the aim here is to shake things up, make these candy companies think twice about what they're putting into our treats, and to encourage safer alternatives. It's all about keeping an eye on what we're consuming and making sure that it's not putting our health and the health of our kids at risk. So what do you guys think? Should we post a follow-up video on this one? Like, what foods or products do you want me to cover in the next video? Drop me those questions and comments down below. So right now, guys, you should see 2 videos right above my head. Go ahead and click on those videos right now. I've got some important information to share with you guys in those. But for now, this was our update and daily news report. Explosive chemicals missing in California, some questionable chemicals in our food and everyday products, and the stuff that you really should stay clear of. Now, I hope you guys found this information helpful. Do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe for your daily dose of truth. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you on the next one.